War number 11, second to last war of the season, and I'm just gonna flat out say it, I'd have two of the dumbest deaths I've ever committed later in this video. They feel really bad. We'll get to them later. We're starting on path 3 here against Sandman. We're gonna start against the Sandman, or I just said that, but this is a pretty easy fight for Elsa. It's just using that evade to get their dash attack like we usually do to trigger the taunt, and then we're pretty much chilling besides from that. Just making sure to only use the evade when they're dashing in for just an easy taunt, and then it's pretty fine. And I don't even need the taunt necessarily for the SP1 decks, because it's really easy. It's the SP2 decks that I really would like to have the taunt up for, because I can't dex that SP2 while rooted, and I imagine most people can't. So yeah. And next up we have Chavez versus this Rintrah. This Rintrah basically doesn't benefit from any of the nodes, neither does that Sandman, I think, so I was just going to take this with Chavez, and it's just going to be a slow and steady fight. It's pretty easy, because you're constantly knocking him down, controlling his mystical charges anyway, so he's basically never going to go unstoppable in the corner. We're basically never going to get ruptured. We just need to make sure to keep knocking him down, which is pretty easy for her to do. And like I said, it's just going to be a slow and steady fight. It's not going to go that fast just because it's a Rintrah who has a lot of crit resist, a lot of energy resist, and no buffs. So Chavez doesn't really gain a lot of benefits from attack, but at the same time, she still hits decently hard to begin with, so it's not going to be that bad. We kill the Rintrah in like 80 seconds, but I sped it up because there wasn't that much to talk about, so not that big a deal. Next up, we have Section 2, Path 8. And we're going to start off with this Professor X on node 26. Pretty easy Mega Sentinel fight. We're going to use the Plasma Wave debuff to make sure that we can hit him while he's faltered. The nodes for this fight largely don't matter. He can benefit from Opportunist if he does happen to gain a prowess, but usually that's not going to happen, so it's perfectly okay. We're just going to keep placing our tracking debuff, but I need to get a pause as soon as I can, so I think I'm going to go for a 4th light here. We're going to block this idiot's SP2, and then we don't take a lot of damage because we have so many armor ups. We have a bunch of energy resistance too. So we're going to place our first set of plasmas, get 4 of them. They tick for 5k a second, and yeah, we're basically chilling at this point. We go for a pause. The taunt is about to fall off. Doesn't even matter because we can throw an SP1 or just kill him with that medium attack. So really easy fight for OS. Next up is Adam on node 35. This is a much easier matchup than I'd say both Gore and Hulkling, so I'm not exactly sure why Adam is placed here, but I guess they want Gore and Hulkling later on the map. I have this weird black screen bug that I've gotten before, but still never understood why I even have it. But it's not really that big a deal. It's just like, why is this here? So, as long as I pay attention to that, it's fine. I don't even know what I'm saying when I said pay attention to that. What is there to pay attention to? Either way, this Adam's gonna die really fast. We're gonna go for an SP2 here. And it's going to finish the job before his pod comes up. Actually, it kind of came up at the end, but it didn't matter because he died. So yeah, that's my path fight. Now we're going to start taking my 3 minis, starting with Photon on node 37. I took this last war. It is still a scary fight, but I think Elsa does a really good job of it. Activated combat regen boost, which was largely irrelevant because she's going to be reducing all my healing with Despair anyway, but I had some in the overflow, so I was going to use them anyway, I guess. We got a little bit out of it, I guess, before Despair becomes a big deal, but at the same time, it's largely doing nothing, so yeah, kind of a waste, but also, who cares. We're going to go for the evade right here as soon as she dashes in. Never mind, we're going to do it right here as soon as she dashes in, and then we throw the SP2 right after. That's a lot of block damage, but it's okay. We're still chilling here. We're gonna go for another evade right as, well, the evade came back off cooldown, but we're gonna go for the dash attack evade right there. Sometimes I am a little bit nervous about it, and don't always go for it on the dash attack, but you know, I usually get it later, so it's fine. I can safely dex the specials when she isn't in pure light form, so that's a non-issue. That's what I was doing. We get 6 Buster debuffs, and yeah, we're largely just going to finish the job right here with an SP1. Never mind even before the SP1. I took these fights this morning, I still don't remember how they end, but actually, never mind, that's a lie. I know what's going to happen next. Okay, so we have Note 48 Domino here, which I was nervous about taking because it's a very large Domino. Well, the largest physically acquirable Domino in the game, actually, I should say, aside from, like, Sig level. But I was like, I'm getting a Wagnito pre-fight, so I have safe parries. It's just a big Domino that's gonna wipe out my indestructible boost literally immediately, so that's fun. I'm trying to go for a light intercept, and she decided to not let me have that, so that's cool. We're gonna get her to throw her SP2, go for the Dexes, and my game plan here is go to SP3, trigger Conflictor before I throw the SP3, and then I'm largely just safe at that point. We do have to worry about the Lucky Evade, but that's okay. So yeah, the reason I'm going for SP3 is just because it's going to place 6 Plasmas, but at the same time, it's not going to spend a lot of time on Conflictor, just in case that is an issue. It might be a non-issue and I'm just overthinking it, but it doesn't really matter anyway because we're getting basically the same amount of plasmas per bar of power as if we were doing SP2 anyway. We're going to go for a heavy there, pause those debuffs, and we're kind of chilling at this point. We're going to go for an intercept as soon as we can. She didn't want to go for it, and now my plasmas are falling away. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to have the taunt, but that's fine. I can still dex this stuff like that, and we get a taunt finally, so that's cool. But here is the issue. I decide I'm going to block this SP2 because I don't want to risk dexing it. But what I didn't realize is that prowess combined with impact mean you take a lot of damage. So I'm literally at 10% health and then die from an intercept right after. If I just trusted my instincts and dexed to the SP2, I wouldn't have lost 60% health and take a death. Because I doubted myself on dexing the SP2 for absolutely no reason. And I was like, I have a lot of health, she's basically dead, I'm not going to risk it and misdex an SP2 and end everything. And I made it worse for myself by blocking it. Oh, that's all I can really say about it. I just screwed up. Big brain fart, should have never blocked that, just trust my instincts and dex it. It's not even a hard dex, I don't even know why my brain decided to do that. But I paid for it, so yeah, there's literally not much else to say other than just a massive brain fart death. Whatever. Okay, so next up we have Silk on the boss node. I did this fight last war. It was a cleanup, but it was 80% health that I had to clean up, so it was basically a solo in my book. But here I'm just like trying to do the same thing as last time. Parry her dash attack, get the taunt, and then we're largely chilling at that point. We're going to dex the tail end of her SP1 because it's really easy. It's not hard like the earlier hits, but we're just going to continue to hopefully let her throw her SP1. Here's the part where I screwed up. I used that evade when she wasn't dashing at me, and now the taunt fell off because she didn't want to play ball, which is a risk that I was basically willing to take. And if I parried there, I would actually be safe, but I was kind of not expecting an immediate dash. And I die. Just like that. I should have not used the evade. I should have waited to get an intercept with the evade instead of using it that early. And granted, I would have been fine if the AI threw their special, but there was only like 6 seconds left on the taunt, so there was always a risk of that happening. So another massive brain fart death. It really sucks to end the season, or not end the season, but I mean the season's almost over at this point with deaths like that, but it is what it is. I probably could have gotten parried there in hindsight. Luckily I didn't. Go for the evade, trigger the taunt, literally all I needed to do last time, and then we would have been chilling. What's really annoying is how well the second attempt goes, and I'm like, why couldn't the first attempt just go as perfect as this one did? Here I'm like, well, I need to crit to get rid of that evade, but she's not letting me have it, so I guess I'm just throwing this into her evade. I knew she wasn't going to counter it, because AI doesn't do that. I somehow blocked that heavy with the steadfast, which I don't know if you're supposed to be able to do that, but that's cool. I don't have stand your ground, so I know it wasn't from that. It might be a bug or something. Whatever. Yeah. So, go for the intercept with the evade right there. And we're going to build up back up to SP2, I think? Question mark? We're going to see. Hopefully the evade doesn't happen this time. Like I said earlier, that throwing the special attack into the evade, it was intentional because I knew she wasn't going to counter it. Because AI usually doesn't counter special attacks when they're evaded. Maybe I should have just went for SP3 instead of completely dumping my power. That probably would have been smarter, but it's not like that really hindered the fight, so it's okay. We go for the evade there, and then this Silk is basically dead right after the relic. We just need a couple hits, and then the SP1 would have finished off if the basic attacks did not. So, yeah, there's my War 11, 2 of the worst deaths I've ever had, which really sucks, because my solo rate was so good going into this war, and I just destroyed it in this one war. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We did win the war, so we're 8-3 now. We are in Plat 1 now. Just need one more win to lock it in. And then, yeah, really good season finish if we can get that last win. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one, hopefully with my war finale in just a couple of days. And judging by the assignments I have, I'm extremely excited for it. See ya.